Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid Maidin, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. And on today's show, we're going to discuss the CSA T20 Challenge Round 2. After the second round of fixtures, we've had quite interesting results, and there's also been some chaos happening at KZN Inland recently. It seems like there's a lot of problems happening behind the scenes. Uh, we also saw a story from Network 24 talking about the pitch conditions and them possibly not having any games at the grounds because of the conditions and things that are happening over there. There were safety pins and glass all over the pitch or something like that. I mean, we saw some tweets online as well from Werner. He also released some tweets about this, a whole thread. So this chaos happening over there when it comes to the situation at KZN in England, in Pietermaritzburg. So I don't know what's really going on there. It's crazy. Uh, s- uh, I mean, you could possibly. I mean, there are currently for Division One side, it is quite embarrassing, you would say, for what is going on over there. But it is highly likely that they will be relegated this season. They haven't had a great start. They haven't had a great tournament in any of the formats really, and they've had a poor start to this CSA T20 challenge now as well. And you'll see that when I go through the fixtures and the results of this weekend's fixtures on Sunday's fixtures. But the CSA T20 challenge so far, I mean, I don't really know what to say with regards to the standard so far. It's not necessarily the best standard, I would say, so far in this tournament. I mean, there's been up and down games. Not it hasn't really been necessarily very consistent with regards to the amount of runs scored, etc. There's been some. I mean, when you look at the first round of fixtures, we did have some low scoring matches and then one high scoring match. So there was a little bit, and then one like medium scoring match, you could say, with Titans and Northwest. But in the second round of fixtures, it was a low scoring affair in general. Uh, there weren't really any massive scores posted first. And that is a little bit of a concern for the tournament, I feel, because when I look at the when I look at the scores in this particular series, and I'm going to show you it now, I'm going to share it with you. I feel that if you didn't watch any of the games, you'd also be a little bit shocked by by what has happened. So first and foremost, we had the televised game between the Dolphins and the Warriors. The Warriors scored 100 and, sorry, the Dolphins scored 121 for 8 in the 20 overs. So they weren't bowled out, but they only managed 121 for 8 in the 20 overs. Now, I was live at Newlands, so I wasn't necessarily taking too much attention to the televised game because I was watching the Western Province game live. And ultimately, you can see by the wickets taken that the medium paces and put it's not necessarily by looking at this particular score sheet and looking who took wickets. You can't necessarily say that the wicket is terrible because every sort of bowler took a wicket on the day. You had Bayer Swanepoel, who's a swing bowler. Tristan Stubbs took a wicket. Marco Jansen took two. Sia Sametu took two, who's a spinner. Neelan van Heerden, who's a fast to medium pace bowler. He took one. It was very expensive though. Patrick Kruger, who was a more medium to slow bowler, he also took a wicket. So overall, everybody took wickets, and the Dolphins really didn't come to the party with a bat. And ultimately, they were bowled out for 121. And the Warriors chased that down in 14.1 overs. So Jefferson Pillay scored 42 of 27 balls. So it seemed like they were batting on a completely different pitch to what the Dolphins were batting on. Matthew Brzezinski scored 31 of 25. Payas Swanepoel 17 off 8 balls. So he was really going for it. And Jordan Herman, 15 of 10, batting lower down the order. Tristan Stubbs also 15 of 15. So that was a low scoring game. So that wasn't really that great from that perspective. Then, oops, we had the game between Northwest and the Lions, which was even worse. The Northwest Dragons were bowled out for 103 18 overs. So it's not only that it's low scoring, but it's not only low scoring, but it's also it seems like a struggle to bat for some teams. Like the Dragons, for example, in 18 overs they only scored 103, and they were bowled out as well. So that didn't really help. And then Senanu Mutasami is the only one that really put on a fight for his team, 33 of 26 balls. But the Lions bowlers were excellent. Kwena Mapaka is bowling like a senior pro at the moment. He's looking really good. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. It might be because these players maybe aren't that used to playing against him. But he is looking really good. And he's in every format that he's played so far, he has taken wickets. So that's a positive. When it's SAA, it's under 19, now in senior cricket as well. So he has been taking wickets in all formats that he's played. So I'm being quite impressed with what I've seen there with him. Junaid Dawood played, which is a brilliant one because we were waiting for him to play for a while. He took 3 for 23. So he was a key factor in that game for the Lions with the ball. But then the Lions batting, Ryan Rickleton and Reza Hendricks basically, almost took them over the line ultimately. But Reza was fantastic, 57 of 30 balls, 8 fours and 2 sixes, in incredible form at the moment. Ryan unfortunately lost his wicket to Tnete. And then Temba Bavuma scored 9 of 9 to get them over the line with Reza Hendricks at the crystal. So they won that game by 9 wickets, so total domination, and still unbeaten in the tournament. So 2 out of 2 for them, 2 out of 2 for the Warriors as well. Then it was Western Province. Like I said, I was live at the game, and there was the Tuskers actually won the toss, and they chose to bat first. But just like their previous game, they completely collapsed. And if it wasn't for Keith Tajan, Alinhle Magletwa, then, and you could say to as well, Kirtland Manakam. I think if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have gotten to a decent on. I wouldn't even say it's a decent total. They wouldn't have gotten past 100. Let me put it to you that way. Western Province bowlers overall as a group bowled well, but particularly Mtinabe, Andre Berger, and Carl Simmons, they took 2 wickets apiece. And then Björn Hendricks took 1 for 15. And with a bat, they made it harder than it should have been. Tony De Zorzi scored 25 of 16. But Jono Bird was the top player. I watched him play, and he was batting with complete power and freedom, knocking the ball around the ground. Particularly successful straight down the ground. That is one of his best shots and one of his strengths. So I was very impressed with the way he performed and the way he batted in that particular game. It was good to see. So that is something that is positive for Western Province. He hasn't really been consistently in teams because of injuries, etc. And So it's good to see him now in this T20 format. I think the T20 game does suit him quite well, to be honest. But Western Province also getting the second win in the second game, so they also are unbeaten. Then it was the Titans and the Rocks, and the Rocks, unfortunately, only scoring 126 for 9 in their 20 overs. And Clyde Fontaine was top scorer with 33 of 28. Sean Van Berg scored 22 of 16. And Keegan Peterson 21 of 19. So, but there wasn't really anything to run home with. It was a pretty average performance with the bat. Uh, and it was at their home ground as well. So that's a bit of a concern. And this wicket did seem to be a little bit tricky because both teams kind of struggled on the pitch. Um, we know that the Bray Shamsi was exceptional. He took 4 for 23. And Lazard Williams took 2 for 1. Aaron Bongiso took 1 for 16. And Aiden Markram. So the pitch was a little bit... There was a lot in it for the spinners, as you can see. And the Rocks struggled to deal with that. Not a... It's not a surprise that Janaman Malan, for example, fell to Aiden Markram or to a spinner. He has been having issues with that in the past. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, the wicket of Deva Brevis to Michael Copeland was fantastic. The way he dismissed him. But Shams is bowling very well in the storm so far. Then with a bat, I don't think the Titans would be very happy with the way they batted necessarily. They wouldn't have wanted to lose as many wickets as they did. But Subs Makanya scored 34 of 25. Deva Brevis 14 of 14. Rivaldo Munsami 25 of 31. And Aaron Bongiso 25 of 9. He's actually the guy that sealed it for the Titans because they were pushing it quite late. I mean, they only won the game in the 20th over. So they were taking their time with this chase, you could say. But Aaron Bongiso's 25 of 9 kind of did speed things up because they did find themselves at 99 for 6 in 16.5 overs. So they were a little bit in panic mode, you could say, and maybe a little bit slightly in panic mode at that stage. Because they lost quick wickets, one in the 16th over and one in the 17th over. So they did lose wickets in quick succession. But the Titans did manage to clinch it and win the game by 4 wickets. So great from their perspective, I would say. But it does, the low scoring games does make me wonder because about the pitches. Like, I mean, even when I looked at Newlands, they were like playing on like the 9th strip or 8th strip. They were like probably 11 or 12 pitches that were semi-prepared or not fully prepared, but semi-prepared. And you could say in the beginning stages of being prepared. They've used so many pitches this season at Newlands because the women play there, the Colts play there, the Western Province men play there, obviously the women's team, and like I said, plays there too. And then sometimes there are other games that happen there as well in between. So I feel that maybe too much cricket is being played at the ground. I haven't been very happy with the way the ground looks. It hasn't necessarily been looked after very well. I feel like the grass hasn't been trimmed at the boundary. It stops at the boundary rope, and then there's just like untidy grass. There's a lot of sand patches, etc. So I haven't been very impressed with the way the ground looks. But all around the ground, I would say that the pitches haven't been up to standard, I feel. So that is a bit of a concern because, and I guess it's because it's been a long season as well. But I mean, when it comes to international cricket, it hasn't. But I mean, obviously, with the SA20 taking over a month of cricket, with every few days a game on the ground and changing up the pitches, you can tell that it does take its toll on the wicket. Um, and also because they're going to prepare T20 wickets differently. You know, you're going to put a lot more effort into altering it a bit and putting effort into um, manipulating the field and the wicket, etc. Uh, yeah, it hasn't been a great standard of cricket so far in this tournament. I want to read what you guys have to say though. Maybe I'm a bit too harsh on it so far. It's only been 2 games. But Kani says guys like Ethan Bosch and the Patron are not able to make the playing 11 is a joke. Lawrence says, Kani, this is where the 6-5 rule doesn't help itself. Both the Pavlin and Ethan were regular fixtures for Pretoria Capitals in a prestigious global T20 tournament, yet they can't make a Dolphins side. Joke. The quality has not been great. I mean, Supersport haven't even the quality hasn't been good. I mean, even Supersport haven't really sold the product with their poor haven't really sold the product with their poor quality production of yesterday's match. That was basically a YouTube stream being televised. And I've heard that the YouTube streams also haven't been really that great either. There's been spelling mistakes on the graphics, and it hasn't necessarily been very professionally run in general. So that is a bit of a concern. It's not a very good look for South African cricket when our domestic tournament isn't being broadcasted correctly. Um, but and the level of cricket hasn't necessarily been very much up to standard. I mean, if you compare this to the SA20, there's a massive gap in the quality of cricket on display. We can definitely say that. And yes, the transformation targets will cause some sort of issues, particularly with white players in the team. That is just natural. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of criticism aimed at this particular tournament for the quality so far. Hopefully, it does pick up and gets a little bit more competitive. Um, so many good players miss out since Match 92. So good to see John O'Bird back playing and getting an opportunity. He's batting so well. I told you the other day he's a guy I rate really highly, especially in white ball cricket. Yeah, I've rated him highly too for a very long time. I mean, I was one of the first people to interview him as well on this channel. So there's there's a good understanding of Jono's game. The problem with Jono over the years has been his injuries. He hasn't been able to keep himself fit consistently over a period of time, and that's let him down tremendously. So hopefully he can keep that fitness up, because at the moment there are a lot of other youngsters at Western Province also knocking on the door and looking to open the batting. Lawrence says Rickelton and Riza also causing absolute mayhem in the first 2 games, 2 consecutive 75-run opening partnerships. The Lions are stacked. Texas, the broadcast has been shocking. Lawrence says Nanda been bowling with some serious venom as well. Good to see him back after missing the final. Was excellent at the death against the Dolphins. Texas Nanda is world class. He's really bowling fantastically. With pace, with power, with variations. He's moving the ball around quite well. So he's really bowling extremely well. He's very entertaining to watch, especially live. Lawrence and Shamsi bowling really well. That's 7 wickets in 2 games for him. Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, we know how potent he can be in the T20 format. I personally think that the T20 format is actually his best format. He comes alive in that format. Needles have been found at the Pietermaritzburg Oval. Yeah, I spoke about that a little bit earlier. I feel like the guys at the PSL should have stayed there. They were doing well against really good bowlers. Exposure of that quality is important. Should have kept them there. Lorenzo says, so where does the SA20 money go to when CSA basically use a YouTube stream to showcast the CSA T20 challenge? It's embarrassing, to be honest. We pay so much for DSTV just to get this crap. They only play 1 game on Supersport. I thought that the entire tournament was going to be broadcasted, but I think the problem there is having 6 different cameras at 6 different grounds at exactly the same time I'm sorry, four different cameras at four different grounds exactly the same time. Um, and then also getting commentators for all four grounds as well, because all the games happen exactly the same time. So to get a crew that size to be split up over over four at four venues, I think is gonna be a lot more expensive than we think, and I think that will be the issue over there. The YouTube streams. I mean, I personally don't enjoy watching the YouTube streams for matches because I don't get the full view of the field and the camera angles, etc. Um, I just don't like the angle that you're watching it from. I'd prefer to obviously be live at the game or watching it on TV, but I don't enjoy watching it on a YouTube stream, especially that the Pitch Vision stream, because the Pitch Vision streams are generally supposed to be for analysis purposes, for players to look at the details of the batter and the bowler from that perspective, close up technique wise, to see the strokes and the stance and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily it wasn't necessarily made for entertainment viewing, I would say. So yeah, that can be a problem. Now, to be honest, Ananda is in my T20 World Cup squad. Yeah, and mine too. Harley Lawrence, why is Supersport not broadcasting the season's tournament like they did with the 2021-22 season? Guys, I really can't tell you why. I'm just speculating here and trying to think of a reason why. Um, but I can't tell you why this has happened. Why they're not broadcasting all the games. The only thing I can think of is the fact that all four games are happening exactly the same time. So that's the only reason I can think of logically. I don't know where the money where the money does go that they get from the SA20, where it does go to, where it gets spent on, etc. We'd have to speak to someone in the finance department at CSA to ask them, and I don't know if they'll necessarily be honest with us about that. But that is a shame that we're not getting all the games on SuperSport. Don't know how much the selectors can truly look at this tournament and make a call on certain selections for the T20 World Cup because the quality ain't there to make a fair call. IPL, Oaks also leaving soon. Yeah, apparently they're leaving over the next few days. Lorenzo says, Harley, but in my opinion, CSA can't use that as an excuse. They televise the varsity and varsity shields for rugby all over the country, and they showcase all domestic and school rugby games in SA. CSA can do more. Yeah, but rugby is also a lot more popular at the moment because of the Booker won the World Cup. So I think they're taking into consideration views and how much views they're going to be getting. But I think a lot more can be done for cricket. Um, Tex says Supersport as the flagship broadcaster should behave like a flagship. London says thought SA20 money was gonna help the domestic game. That's what CSA said because we're definitely not seeing it. But I do think that will be dripped over a few years. We're not going to see all the changes in one season. Uh, they made more money this year apparently than they did last season. And I'm thinking that after year 3, I always said we'll probably start to see some changes visibly after year 3. But that's a long time to wait. You want to obviously we live in an instant gratification world where we want to see changes immediately. But the one thing that is a positive is the fact that the women's game is domestically, from a financial standpoint, is improving. So I think some of that money probably got paid was moved towards the CSA T20. To the CSA, to the women's game. I think some of that must have been shared to the domestic women's game. I don't know. I'm speculating here. We're gonna have to obviously do a lot more research. Well, not research because no one really doing the research or interviews about it. Um, if CSA also gung ho on transformation, then gun ho on transformation should broadcast more games on television. No point in them pitching about wanting more players of color, yet they can't ever even cater for the people in the townships. Now, the only way the townships will benefit from cricket is if it's played on and cricket broadcasting is if it's played on SABC, and Supersport is not really going to help them with that because people in the townships can't necessarily afford the full package of DSTV. Where you know that cricket, if you want to watch cricket, you have to pay for the full package of DSTV. You can't get a compact or any other deal. You have to get the full package to be able to watch cricket and rugby. So ultimately, if they do want to spread this game, SAPC needs to come into into the into the mix, or they have to up their broadcasting on the YouTube channel, um, invest in some cameras and stream it properly. Different angles. Um, but yeah, at the moment, we have to do with what we got at the moment, even though it hasn't been the best of quality. Lawrence says, I think if they can give us two good quality broadcasts every match week, that would be a start at least. Fans will get on board with that. Double headers can also work. Two broadcasts can, yes, they probably could give us two broadcasts. But we also have to look at the timing of this. Majority of the channels are used for Premier League football, and Premier League football is very big with DSTV at the moment. So it's also about time slots because the games are played at 6 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the evening or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekend. So in the 6 o'clock in the week and 2 o'clock in the on the weekend. Um, so that's like prime slot for rugby and for cricket. I'm sorry, rugby, not rugby, rugby and for football. And we know that they're probably playing big money for those Premier League rights. Double headers is good idea on the weekends. And that's my point, Hardy. CSA should get the SABC more involved in cricket. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it's but isn't this one of the reasons why the SA20 was brought in, or they're just filling pockets again? They said that the SA20 is going to be um, important for domestic cricket and going to aid domestic cricket. That was what was communicated with us. We're gonna have to wait and see, guys, and then give a plan or give an analysis after 3 years and say and then say what has been done and what hasn't been done. But I'm gonna move on from that now. I want to talk quickly about the African Games and Team SA quickly. I have to give them some airtime, of course, for their achievement. So the Team SA women's team, put it up on the screen, have made it to the final of the African Games. Here's the team over here for you. They beat Uganda in the semi-final by 50 runs. Captain Sangasi scored 38 to 42. And South Africa scored 122 for 4 after 20 overs. CSA T20 challenge scores, guys. Siaweku and Bazi took 1 for 17. And then South Africa bowled Uganda out for 72. And Kayla Raneke again took 3 for 13. She's been brilliant in this tournament. And Winster took 2 for 12. So they made it to the final, and currently Zimbabwe and Nigeria, I think, are playing at the moment. So how they've done in the tournament so far, Namibia beat South Africa by 1 run DLS. That's crazy. If I look at the situation, I think it's almost like they maybe calculated wrong. Or how unlucky are you going to get that the rain comes with one? That's a bad result. Namibia was bowled out for 89 for 7 after 20 overs, and Janabota and Winster took 2 for 17, and Janabota took 2 for 9. Um, Gemma Bota, sorry. Um, then South Africa 29 for 4, and then rain came, so TLS. Game 2, they beat Tanzania by 8 wickets. They bowled Tanzania out for 66. And Captain Sangasi took 5 for 13 in this match, and Leah Jones took 2 for 5. Then South Africa scored 67 for 2, with Faith Thunderclough top scoring with 29 not out. Then in game 3, they beat Nigeria by 4 wickets. They bowled Nigeria out for 74. Kayla Reineke again, 3 for 12, brilliant bowling. And S. Naidu, 4 for 13. And then Faith Thunderclough again for South Africa, got them to 78 for 6 with a 45 of 34 deliveries. And then the semi-final, of course. The final will take place on Wednesday at 1:50, and they'll either be playing Zimbabwe or Nigeria in the final. So that's just a quick update on the Team SA at the Africa Games, the Women's T20. Lorenzo says, and no one can tell me about fan attendance as people hardly go watch domestic rugby. These rugby stadiums are pretty much empty. At least the SA20 has a massive support base. Yeah, the SA20 has a massive support base. They've done well to market the tournament, I feel, to non-cricket lovers as well as cricket lovers. And I think that's what's really helped them. So that's pretty great from that perspective. Realistic Gamer, I'm asking exactly the same question. I myself don't know what has happened to Tandotini and Lifantanzi. I did hear that there's a couple of players that are having, it's a rumor though, it's not 100% confirmed, so don't take my word for it. But because of the things happening at KZN Inland off the field, apparently there's some crazy things happening off the field. And that's the reason why a lot of players also have decided not to play or whatever the case may be. I don't know if that's true. If anybody can message me and confirm that, that would be great. Any players that have watched the show maybe can confirm with me. Present says CSA YouTube broadcasting analysts will go a long way for exposing cricket to townships given the financial challenges. Yes, but they also need to give a lot better streaming for that. They could do a lot better with regards to the streaming of the YouTube games. So I would like to see an improvement in that, but I mean we can't be biggest can't be choosers necessarily because that's what we have at the moment. So we have to kind of work with what we got. It isn't very entertaining. It's quite boring to watch it on a Pitch Vision stream, I must be honest. But yeah, I'll try to go to the Western Province games as many as I can. As you guys know, the fast started today for me. So it's my first day. And that's why the shows will be at 6 o'clock, because obviously I break my fast at 7. So just to give you guys a quick update on that. So yeah, I'll try my best to give you as long a shows as possible, because I still have to help like prepare certain things before we break our fast. So it will be around 30 minutes minimum, at least each show. I will try to give you as long a show as possible every day going into during this month. So yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to obviously subscribe and click the notification bell for all future videos. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine Monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. I'd also like you guys to please go to our business corner. If you are a small business or medium enterprise looking to market your business effectively and affordably to a cricket audience, and you want us to implement a strategy, the technology, as well as use our audience for marketing, then please get in touch with us. We'll give you a free consultation to discuss how we can help you. So go to the link on the screen as well as in the description. Lorenzo says, Khalid, if their excuse is that they don't have enough commentators for YouTube streams, you can tell them you have the Cricket Fanatics community who can help laugh out loud. You guys, imagine if we were streaming those games on Cricket Fanatics and you guys were all calling in and having a chat about the game. That would be brilliant. Um, I did kind of try and speak to them about something like that. Well, not CSA, a party about doing something like that, but they couldn't see the value in it. So, but I mean, yeah, I've been thinking about doing more, but it's it's tough to do it at a high quality um, without having the right equipment. So that causes a little bit of an issue. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your evening, and peace out, everyone.